Before millions, it was TA Tantrum, trap a lot. We make bands and splash a lot. Back when COG and Chabadon had Starlight on Smash a lot. Gal got dagger lock, stepped up bands and Addy tops. Nights all changed on the lagger man. Perfume back a rat, neck all gold like Shabba ranks. Pap, 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 that's the cameraman. Quick change pose and quick change clothes.
So boom, Champion, you get me? We're about to go watch a little screening quickly. I've already watched it. Obviously, what I like about Champion, I like the family dynamics, you know, the themes that they touch on, family dynamics, mental health, flipping the rivalry and the music industry, get me? So, yeah, and I feel like it's very relatable to people. So we're going to go inside and see what's cracking.
Right, before we even start, I'm going to introduce myself for those who may not know and why we are here. My name is Jerome. This is my good friend and partner, Joey. We both run Loads of Talent. And if you don't know, I know a few of you do, but Loads of Talent is a platform for creatives to connect to the industry through masterclasses, workshops, Q&As, and events such as these. Why? Because honestly, things feel so far away, but you know that typical cliche thing, you're only ever 6 people away from anyone in the world. So if we can use our links to bring that down from 6 to 3 to 2 to 1. Can we put the chest aside quickly and play a little icebreaker? Peter's going to be here in half an hour.
That's the dog, man. I'm about to say. A little icebreaker, you get me? All right.
With a twist. Right, cool. So some of you are going to know this. This is my favourite thing to do. Yeah, we're going to get in pairs and we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. But it's going to be a little championship. We're going to play rock, paper, scissors up to 1. If you lose, you become a fan of the person you lost to. And at the end, there'll be 2 groups, 2 finalists, and 1 winner. So, find someone that you don't know, please, if you can, and pair up with them.
What did you say? If you lose, you become a fan?
You become a fan of the person you lost to. So as they go on their quest to become champion, you have to share them on it. Yeah. Come, Joey, come, get involved. How you been? Where's Cisco? No, not yet. Where's Cisco? Cool. Alright, I'll pair with you then. She can just go first. Is it docking it?
No, it's gone. Good.
No, yeah. Right, Joey, can you give us a little countdown, please? It's just.
So on shoot, yeah?
On shoot, yes. Not on scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah? And then we're gonna go. Yeah?
Ready?
Lovely stuff. No, everyone go.
Best of 3.
Best of 1. Best of 3 when it gets to the final. So, yeah, mind games.
Oh, so whoever loses, lose gracefully.
Go on shoot, yeah?
Yeah, on shoot.
Yeah. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot, yeah? Alright. Give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
It's up to 3. Let's go 3. Let's go 3, the final, yeah? Wait, who's on this side? Okay, who's on that side? Yeah, I want to see those ones. Come on now. I want to cheer it. No, you put on. This is our team. No, this is our team.
Right, when to start, can you make it?
Right? Alright, cool. Let's go.
No pressure.
3, 2, 1, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Best of 3, you got to
Come on, man. I'm just too good. I'm mind games.
It was therefore best of 3.
You won, yeah.
It was therefore best of 3, so we have to give it out to our winner. Alright, let's go one more time. You got to
Can I just say,
let's bet. Yeah, go.
that is proof that hunger from the beginning can win you things.
Alright, new pair. Me and you two, let's go. New pair. Joey, give us a countdown when you're ready. Let's not let bro win twice in a row. Yeah? Sorry, why did you listen to me?
The same family.
It's not. Wait a minute, bro. I know what you're gonna do.
It's the same family.
That's a final. No, it's not the same final. That's what I said. Sis, you accelerated to the semi-finals. You accelerated. Come on. We're all getting involved. Come on, don't be shy. Just a little bit of rock, paper, scissors. You got rock, paper, scissors, yeah? Up to one. It's just up to one. And you go and shoot, yeah? Alright, come on, when you're ready. Shoot.
And then you shoot.
I feel like I'm being mindful now. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Well done, bro.
Yeah, it was gracefully. Alright, you're in the final. You're in the final.
How do you get to the final again?
Three.
You're gonna beat him.
Let's go free. I feel like she's a silent ninja. She's like she's literally. Huh?
You're on my side? What the fuck is? Bro, you're on my side?
Nah. No, I'm not, bro. I'm not. That was just motivation. I know you're gonna win this. Let's make it 2-2. It's 2 for 2. Let's go. Oh, shoot though, yeah? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah?
I'm not gonna this one.
3, 2, 1, go!
Ooh, that's 1-0. 1-0. If you win this one, then you've won.
Ooh, get him in!
No, mine. Ready?
You do that again.
Nah, but we've got to keep that eye contact, man. Look into it.
Ready?
And again. That was a draw. Go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, 1-1. 1-1. This is the decider. Alright, nice. Let's keep going for it. Alright, beautiful. Let's finish it back in.
Just finished watching the episode. It was a good episode. There were some brummies in there, so I enjoyed it. We're gonna get into the Q&A real soon.
Great, that was a beautiful watch. It was really nice, a really in-depth episode. I'm sure we all have quite a few questions. I definitely do. So I guess I will just dive straight into it, to be fair. And if anyone has any questions, please do feel free to just interject, put your hand up, and we'll just take it from there, yeah? And then after we can eat some food and chill together. All right, so brother, my first question is more so around Champion as a whole, and seeing as it is, a lot of our shows that we have in the UK are like very urban, etc., but sometimes we might see heightened versions or exaggerated versions that we may not believe are grounded in as much truth as could be. But when watching Champion, it's obviously very centered in black culture, black music culture, and to be honest, I think it's probably the most authentic of what I've watched anyway, from coming out of Britain. How important was it for you to make sure that it hit home in a way that was relatable, authentic, and maybe how did you go about that as Bosco?
Thank you, man. That's a really good question. First of all, I think initially, when you have something that's at least predominantly black, I think initially the first thing you want to do is not disappoint the diaspora or everybody that's watching. Do you know what I mean? I think what's important in those kind of instances is that you have a sense of self that feels real. So it starts at self for me. So the first thing for me was like building a world around Bosco that felt real. And then as I kind of was casting and going along the process, I'm meeting characters that are going up for other characters as well as my character. So I'm learning who they are and what their hots and colds are. And it's weird because I say this all the time when I do like other interviews and stuff. I always say like Champion was strange in the fact that it was a family before we got on set. So like during the casting process, we all got so close with like, I guess 2-3 months of callbacks and going back and forth, and because I would have met most of them halfway through the process. So I think the first thing is like creating a world that feels real. You start there. I think after that, the kind of building blocks are cohesion. I think everything in acting is being helpful, being cohesive, being, I guess, selfless. So like just being able to bond with people that are from the same walk of life as me, and they understand what the culture represents and what we're trying to represent throughout these scripts, because realistically, you don't, like you said, you get a lot of urban shows that, for me, they take it further than a Richter scale. It's a bit higher than what we're used to, or like our reality isn't that reality, do you know what I mean? And Champion for me was a proper breath of fresh air, because it didn't only give a lot of people with limited opportunities the opportunity, but it also allowed us to explore family dynamics and things that I think personally don't get explored enough, don't get seen enough. And cool, there was like dysfunctional parts of it in terms of like the family dynamic and stuff, but you saw the beauty of what happens when a family is winning, a family is successful, a family is together. So even when they're not together, they're together. Do you see what I'm saying? So like there was a lot of things that I saw growing up, and I familiarized myself with growing up, that I was able to basically reconnect with whilst making it. So I think, because everything felt so real, the world that they created for us before we got to create our own little mini worlds felt so real, it was easy to kind of like, I guess, pick it apart and create something that was believable.
You said before you even got on set, it felt like a family. Can you touch on the importance of that and how that almost influences you guys or impacts you guys on set and while you're doing things, and even touch on a little bit of how production got you guys to become family before set?
I think it was quite natural. It wasn't really them trying to create like, oh, you guys are going to be family. It was more just like you got to know people. It's like I come today and I might click with somebody, and I'm seeing you 2, 3, 4 times over the course of a month. By the time we're at the 3rd or 4th time, we're leaving this place after auditions and we're going for like maybe a food together or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like slowly building a cohesion with people, and because it became so natural and it was so easy to do, it allowed that to materialize. But I go back to the first part of your question and say, I think all productions should take note, honestly, and that's not to be pompous or anything like that. I just mean it to say that creating such a comfort zone for your actors before they get on a set, especially like a long time before, because we were like 6 months pre-production, so we got really close by like still 3 months out to shoot. Do you know what I mean? Because we're already like in group chats and we're messaging each other. Oh, how did you think you done this weekend? Do you know what I mean? It was very, very progressive, and I haven't been on a set like that allowed me to have that. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's very important as well, because you're only going to be as good as the people around you, and if everybody's on the same page, it makes everything feel like it's not a weight on you. Whereas I feel like when you're on this page and that person's on that page and this person and egos are involved, it really makes it tough for you to actually have a level of, okay, I'm enjoying myself. And that's another thing, I think, as an actor, if you ain't enjoying the environment you're in or enjoying the work you're doing as an actor, and it just feels like a chore or feels like a piece of money or just like a payment, it's never going to be fulfilling, and it's never going to create that magic that you want. Do you know what I mean? And I've been blessed enough that the sets that I've been on, especially the major ones, have just been places where it's magic. It just feels like magic. It doesn't feel like a chore. It don't feel like I'm at work. They don't feel like anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go back to say production is so important. If your production is good at creating those environments or letting those environments bloom and not really treading on toes and stopping it from happening, then yeah, you get to create something special for sure.
That slightly reminds me of like a football team.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, like, even if you want to use that as an analogy,
Yeah.
honestly, like it's no, if you've got 11 players on the pitch and everybody is a moving part of what we have planned, we are always going to win that game. If 2 or 3 egos get involved, or like I start a press and 10 people don't follow me for the press, it just looks out of shape now. The cohesion's not there. Do you know what I mean? It's the exact same thing as football. I literally use acting and football in the same kind of. It's the morale thing, isn't it? It's like if you're a leader, the best thing you can do is create comfort. And yeah, just offer, always offer. That's something I would say.
The show touches a lot on like family and tension and ambition. How do you feel like Bosco's background with his family like influenced his choices and his decisions that he made throughout the series?
That's a good question. I'd say it's funny because I think I've seen a clip where like Denzel Washington says, it's not colour, it's culture. Yeah? When somebody asked him why did it need to be a black director on Fences, I think, or film they done, he was like, it wasn't colour, it was culture. And I think that similarly is the same thing because Bosco Champion is a Jamaican man. I'm African. So we have slightly different experiences in upbringing and what our culture actually means and what it represents and how we represent it. So, but one thing we all have in common is culture.
Yeah.
And we all understand what it, like literally again on the platform, what Denzel said, he said, we all understand what it feels like to have a hot comb on the back of our neck in the morning. It's the same thing with us when our parents are putting grease in our hair. So stay still with it. Like, you're near enough punching you up, do you know what I mean? Like, but I think we all come from that where we have similar experiences, where we all know what it is to be what we are, what the culture represents again. So I think that allowed me to navigate in a space where I didn't feel out of place, because again, I was the only non-Caribbean in my family. But because I have a lot of experience growing up in my area, there's a lot of mixed culture people. I understand cultures of people from other walks of life as well because of how diverse my area is and how diverse my background is. So I think deep diving into that, it was also my self-experience that allowed whatever experience Bosco was going to come to light the way it did. And I think the influence, if you want to talk about what his family influence was, I think obviously he was babied quite a lot throughout the series. He weren't really like being made to be his own person, which I think in family dynamics that plays out as what's the best way to describe this? I think in a family dynamic like that, it plays out for the worst.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, in a family dynamic like that, it plays out for the worst because it allows your decision making to be jaded. It allows you to not have, I guess, the maturity to see things for what they are. Because a lot of the times, I'd even watch Champion and I'd question my own character. Like, what are you doing? Like, the decision's in your face. Why are you doing that? But I think it's good as well because it also is a great example of what naivety can build up. A lot of naivety, because if you leave somebody to just to their own vices and their own ways of life, and you don't ever correct them and you don't stop them from doing certain things, and you just let them go about the business because they're like a cash cow or whatever they're doing is working for you in some sort of way, then you don't have their best interest. And I think that was shown throughout the show, that he was around a lot of people that didn't necessarily have his best interest. And as a result, he would turn away or turn a blind eye to the people that did have his best interest. So I think that's what happens when you mask someone too much or baby someone too much, or don't let them actually experience and go out there and just go and grow with the wolves, basically. When you don't let them have that experience, they are, I guess, masked to so much stuff to the point where they don't even see, it's like they don't recognize where they're going wrong at. You know what I mean? Because they've never been basically held accountable, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Nice. And I was just talking about to one of my friends literally this morning about the importance of having people around you that hold you accountable so that you can stay level, stay grounded and stay true to yourself, you know. So yeah, nice point, nice answer. Obviously the show is music heavy. and I know that you make music yourself. So in terms of that, how was it approaching that angle, and how did you prepare for like the performance, the music performance aspects of things?
You know what? I'd say, you know what? I'd say a bit more than I can chew in terms of the actual performance. Because you forget as well sometimes that you're doing takes regardless, right? So let's say, for instance, I've learned this now, but let's say I'm on a set, for instance, unrelated, and I've got to eat chips. I'm gonna make sure the take we lock in, I'm eating the least amount of chips, because now we might eat 20 takes of me eating chips. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's near enough the same thing with the musical aspect. I would put in so much effort into making sure that the first few takes that we lock in, high energy, so then now they need that another 20 times. So I think that the performance was harder than the actual like bars and lyrics and like getting to terms with the cadence of what, because obviously Getz was my writer on the show, he wrote for my character.
Yeah.
So like being in his cadence was important to me because I make my own music. So I wanted it to be a thing of like you hear it and you're like, that sounds like Getz a bit, you know. I wanted that though, because I didn't want people to have a confusion, and then when I finally release music, it's like, why doesn't he sound like Bosco? Do you know what I mean? So I wanted the differentiation to be very, very clear. But I think, just touching on it, I'd say the music side of the performance wasn't hard for me. It was the mental health side of the performance to kind of come away from it. That was the thing that I wanted to get right. And I'd have like a lot of internal conversations around that with people and ask what I can do that is prevalent on camera. That's why like a lot of, if I've got any like funny comments on the show, it'll be stuff like, oh, this guy was just breathing the whole show. But like genuinely when I'm speaking to people, they're like panic attacks, discombobulation, you won't know where you are, like things like that. So I wanted to leap into stuff that was very obvious. There's a lot of other things and a lot of other mechanisms that go into having a panic attack or PTSD or all these other things, but it wasn't as obvious on camera. So I picked the 3 or 4 things that are like the most prevalent to me, and I tried to dive into that. So I guess the music wasn't so much a task, it was like the performance side and getting used to the endurance of it all, stamina, things of that nature. And now when I'm in the gym now, I'm adding cardio to my workouts because I'm like, I've got to run on the stage tomorrow. So it's just like little mental notes and preparations that I think if I had to go again would be like very, very easy. But the adjustment period for that was kind of difficult. But I'd say like the actual performance of music was easy.
Nice. You touched on like the mental health side of things. We saw, especially in this episode here, Bosco like really starting to struggle with coping in certain situations. Like you said, the panic attack when you had to leave the room with the man and go on the balcony and just take a breath. You know what I mean? So I know you just said it was difficult and whatnot, but what did you learn in those performances, having to portray those kind of things, and also once you're done with the day, how did you cope with decompressing from a lot of that stuff?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say what I learned, very big lesson as a man as well, as a masculine man, as an alpha man. I learned that I'm vulnerable, and that was something that was very. It was a struggle, man. Honestly, like I don't usually have to play roles where vulnerability is shown, right? Or if I do, it's like minimalistically. And this actually pushed me to my core of my emotional intelligence, because it's questioning things within me that I haven't had to face or I haven't had to basically come to terms with. So this actually made me do a lot of self-reflection, a lot of learning, a lot of understanding it. It grew my patience. There were so many things that I didn't have before doing this role. Or I didn't realize that I had before doing this role. Let me put it like that. So I think it woke me up a lot in terms of just my inner self and just having like respect for everything and everyone. It allowed me to also fall into an empathetic mindset of like, you know what, like people really do go through things, you know, and you don't know that just because someone's smiling, it doesn't mean that they're like right as rain right now. Do you know what I mean? They might still need a hug or a conversation or someone to pat them on the back or tell them, "Yo, you're doing well." Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it opened me up to a new level of compassion and just made me understand things about myself I don't think I would have understood had I not done the role. What's the second part of the question?
The second part of the
Okay, yes. So what I did to decompress, which was I think again, production, brilliant for this.
nice.
We started with breathing techniques. So we at the end of the day, especially a day where like Bosco had to do like a heavy scene, those would be the major days. We'd be doing like Prashanka breathing, things like that, just bring you back to level.
What is Prashanka breathing?
It's a form of breathing where I guess you control your breaths and you pick and choose when you kind of take a really deep breath or something like that. It's so whoever was doing it at the time, they ran us through it and it was brilliant. I think it was like it made me feel calm at the end of the day. And then like on our days off and stuff, they'd send us to psychologists and shrinks and things like that. And then we just, obviously I'm not gonna lie, me personally, I don't think I'm shrink privy in it. I was in there and I just felt like it was a whole lot of like, so tell me how you're feeling, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, so I felt like there was a lot of self-questions, like, do you know what I mean? Just stuff I'd probably do by myself. But it was helpful. I just don't think it was my thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, there was just heaps of mechanisms put in place to make sure that we feel.
First question is, are you not actors, producers, writers?
Producer, writer,
Right. Okay, so do you feel like you got value from the Q&A?
We're the other side of production. Derek's like set experience it's really good for us to make sure that we work to support that.
It'll come, man.
Yeah, literally what she said. Let's get inside into what an actor does before we even start introducing him to the script, because obviously now he's going to be in the script. I feel like I have to make some changes to the script to make it, as you said, create a vibe, so we can get into the character a lot easier. So yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, to anybody out there aspiring to be an actor, what advice you got for them?
Pick another field. I'm joking. Acting is such a difficult field that, again, I was just actually talking to some young actors just now. I don't think. Alright, cool. If I'm gonna be real, I think the first thing before any advice, is how much do you really want it? Because I just feel like the stuff you need to be accustomed to or become accustomed to, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Acting, before anything, realize that rejection is the thing you need to become accustomed with. Once you figure out that that's your best friend in this thing, then you can navigate in a place where you feel as if, okay, cool, let me weigh up my options and see what I've got here. But I think you need to really have an honest conversation with yourself as a person to see if stuff like not working for periods of time, stuff like not hearing no more than yes, stuff like facing loads of rejection and things of that nature is down your street. Because if it's not, or something that is hard to adjust to, the rest of it becomes much more difficult. So my advice would just be, first of all, how much do you want it? Based on that answer, are you ready to become accustomed with rejection and things of that nature? Based on that answer, that's when I say knock down every stone, turn over every stone you could turn over. Network with every person that you deem important to your journey, whether that be a casting director, a script writer, a producer, an agent, whatever. Anything that's within that field that can get you closer to that goal, explore that. I think in this field, again, it's something I said earlier, but to be late is to be on time is to be late. And I think that's very important with everything. Strike while the iron's hot. Be active, be hungry, be honest with yourself and your goals. You feel me? So it's not really advice. It's just more like, I guess, the do's and don'ts of it, if that's the case. But I think it all just starts at self. Before any advice you even take from anyone or give yourself, make sure it's a field you're 100% wholeheartedly locked into, because it's a difficult field to be a part of, genuinely speaking. So I think, yeah, man, the more you want it, the better. But just know that you want it before you enter. That's a really important rule and regulation of this thing. Once you cross that hurdle,
the world's your oyster, man. But I don't want to say anything cliche like keep going or whatnot. But I do think it's about once you're there, turn over as much stones as you can, network as well as you can, leave with that important number or name in your call log or whatever it is when you go to these places or once you get to these places, because you never know. One casting director could change your life, one writer, one exec producer. It doesn't matter. Like just really putting yourself out there, open to your goals and what it is you truly want, and knowing what you truly want as well. Sorry for this long-winded advice, people. Knowing what you truly want is very, very, very imperative. But yeah, over to you. Over to bro.
Obviously, to be honest, you see, when I asked you the question, I thought it was going to be something cliche, just like, oh, keep going. But I like that answer more because it's realer. You get me? It's deeper.
It's reality. I want what I want over anything. I want the next generation of actors to be people that actually understood the assignment and loved every minute of it. Because another saying, the journey is the film. You got to fall in love with the process. So if you don't love the process, or you can't become accustomed to the process or adjust to the process, how are you gonna, navigate and enjoy yourself? Because this thing, acting is supposed to be a form of expression. It's supposed to be art, a form of expression though. Remember, first of all, a form of expression. So if you don't feel good doing it, what's the point? And that's why I get to the nitty gritty. That's why it might seem like I'm starting off negative, but I'm being real. It's called being a realist. When you're being a realist, you can operate much better because it's logical thinking. Logically, I'm gonna understand this is a field of rejection. This is a field of a lot more no's than yeses. This is a field where I might not be working longer than I am working. Maybe, depending on your trajectory. So until you get over those hurdles, it's a tough uphill battle. Which is why my honest opinion is what I'm saying. I'm not here to sugarcoat or dance around things or keep going. As long as you try hard, you're gonna make it. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I do think application is brilliant though. Don't get me wrong. I do think if you apply yourself, don't get me wrong, you could go far in any field. Don't have to be acting. But I just want, like, especially aspiring actors, like you said, people that are trying it out and trying to learn and navigate in this thing. It's always good to get through to their true heart and soul's purpose. Like, what are you here for? You feel me? Does this feel like your calling or not? And that's where I think it boils down when it comes to the nitty gritty of it. But yeah,
man. So last thing I want to say is just congratulations on everything you've done, everything you've accomplished. I can see way more things happening. I can't wait to see what else you got left. So thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it, man. That was it. Lactive. It was lit. I enjoyed myself. We learned a lot. Get me, everyone up in here. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Get me.